This is the Rugby Odds, where an unlikely pundit panel of a wordsmith, a WWE legend, a rugby star, and a supermodel scour the globe, seeking best bets and bad behavior. Are you not entertained? All right, we're welcoming back John. John's been on a bit of a hiatus these few weeks. And John, we welcome you back with open arms.
You dumbass. We've all been on a hiatus for several weeks. And we've been on a break. That's what a break is, a hiatus.
Well,
you dumb
Actually, no, John. We shot a show last week without you.
So that's 1 week. I've been on a hiatus for 1 week, not like several weeks. You've been on a hiatus for several weeks.
When was the last time you were on the show?
I have no idea. I don't want to be on it now.
About 5 weeks ago.
So you made a stupid point to open the show. Yeah, great. I'm glad I came back. But it's great to see the king and the legendary coach.
Okay, valid point. Okay, let's get to our first recurring segment. What caught your eye? Mike?
Well, I'm just following the MLR debacle. Who's going next? Miami obviously gone, as you predicted. Still waiting to hear about Chicago. But it looks like it could be a blessing in disguise if there end up being, I don't know, 8 teams and they play they each play each other, and it's a 14-game league, and now all of a sudden you can get the real form teams into the final, not just winning your conference. Old-fashioned league rugby, not American conferences. Who knows? It could be a blessing.
Do you want one eight-team conference if it's 8 teams?
That's what he just said.
That's called a league.
What the boy have you been listening to? He literally just said that.
You know what else could happen? You know what else could come out of this? Is could these American teams, say there's only 5 or 6, do they join the URC on the East Coast? I mean, there's an option.
So are they going to team up as one team to play?
No. So say, for example, they're falling over like wildfire, and that just leaves 4 or 5 teams left. Do they do a deal where they get them into the URC? But I mean, they've got to start somewhere, and they've got to do something. And if they and ultimately, if you're Anthem, you're getting smashed. But
they would be the anthem. They would be the anthem in the URC
and broker.
How about merging with Super Rugby Americas?
What, that's South America?
Yeah.
You could do that. I think that the challenge would be is the short-term pain over the long-term gain is that there was 3 or 4 teams, and let's just say there ended up being 3 or 4 academies on the East Coast of America that was where all the best American players played, and they were playing in the URC. I would hazard a guess by 2030, they would be far better and far more conditioned and far more ready to play other teams in the world, potentially. So a bit of a long game. It's whether or not the owners have the long pockets to see it out.
They've had 8 years of long pockets now, and you can see what's happening, and teams are dropping like flies. But no,
they haven't.
Yeah, they have.
They're trying to compete with each other. What Mike is saying is compete with the best. And at some point, if the owners have the money, they're going to find a way to compete with them.
And also, as well, you're opening new marketplaces to URC because they're getting direct access into the golden dream of America.
All right,
I'm not saying it'll work, but
well, they're listening to everything, and as we're taping this, the dynamics of the league could change more. So by the time this show comes out, there might be another shoe that dropped. Who knows?
Yeah.
Gift, what caught your eye?
This week, one of my buddies, a guy who's got a page, Champagne Rugby, put on a great poll, said the top 5 most marketable rugby players of all time. And I like us to make sure you hear the word marketable rugby players of all time. And it had Jonah Lomo, number 1, Antoine Dupont, number 2, Ilona Mar, 3, Portia Woodman, and number 4. And number 5 is where the controversy came in, was a Sebastian Chabal from France. And I said to them, I looked at that list and I said, that list is a lie. Maro Itoje is more marketable all time than Sebastian Chabal.
Oh, and 100%.
Easy.
I don't know.
I had the biggest battle.
I loved watching Sebastian Chabal play.
Yeah,
of course.
In
he was a caveman. He was French. That's about the best he got.
What about Khaleesi? What about Khaleesi as well,
He is more closer than Chabal. And I just wanted to know that every rugby player or person, fan, really, let me not even say rugby fans, if you don't understand the difference between marketable an all-time great, I'm gonna need you to STFU with anything that deals with industry. Just watch the game.
Yeah.
Watch it because you don't know stuff. It's okay.
Speaking of not knowing stuff, John, what caught your eye this week?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Everybody
So I
duck.
see the guy who used to be on this show, but he left because he hated you, Matt. Stephen Lewis. And he also, by the way, left you in D.C. I mean, he brought you down there and then left you, right?
Yeah, he did. He left me in D.C. He's been paying for it since.
And why else would he drop off the show?
About his problem.
So I run into Stephen Lewis in the airport, LaGuardia. It was great to see the Lizard. I love him. He's a wonderful guy, and he's doing great things with rugby. Has, I guess, the old blue up there was what he had, the team. A very diverse team, which is what I've been bashing USA Rugby for. USA Rugby continually gets worse every single year. They don't have any African-American players this year on their roster at all. It might be the reason they suck. You know, when you just get a bunch of white guys who aren't good enough to play football and say, hey, would you like to play rugby because you can't play these other sports? That's what's going to happen. And that's what American rugby has come down to. But what Steve is doing is great. It's diverse. What MICR is doing, there's a lot of people doing diversity out there. USA Rugby is not one of them. And unfortunately, Major League Rugby is not one of them. And I think something's got to change. I like Mike's suggestion of Major League Rugby trying to go into URC and do something different. Because right now, nothing's working.
Now, I got to pick up on John's point here. It'd be interesting what happens now with the sevens team. Because they're losing some colour as well.
The only ones that are gaining, I want to make a difference between is the USA Women's. The USA Women's are a very diverse group. Very proud of those ladies.
And we're talking about sevens on MLR Weekly this week with Steve Lewis, the czar, as he was jetting off to Nigeria for another sevens gig.
Gang, gang.
All right, we got to move along, and we're going to move along with our Season 5 Player of the Year. Here are the candidates. Thomas Ramos of Toulouse and France. Dan Sheehan of Leinster, Ireland and the Lions. Damien Penaud of Bordeaux and France. Damian McKenzie of the Chiefs and All Blacks. Henry Pollock of the Saints, England and the Lions. Tommy Freeman of the Saints, England and the Lions. Finn Russell of Bath, Scotland and the Lions. Jaden Hendricksa of the Sharks and Springboks just for messing with Crowley and Munster in the URC Double OT kickoff quarterfinals. Mike Friday, who's your TRO Season 5 Player of the Year?
Are you that bad at English that you're just throwing out the F-bomb to try to cover up the fact that you don't speak the language?
Did you not pick up how we've been saying Tommy Freeman?
You are like a freaking early AI software. You're like trying to say something.
Why did I hear M dashes?
John's mic is muted, so we can move along. Mike, who is your Player of the Year?
It's toughy, this, because I do love Ramos. And I think he was sensational for Toulouse, but he got injured at the most important time when it mattered. So for me, I am going for Tommy Freeman. He was sensational for England. He was brilliant for the Lions, and he was different gravy for Northampton in the back line in what was a team that struggled all year. But yeah, he has had a breakout season of all breakout seasons.
Gift, unfortunately, the list was made after your submission of Maro Itoje, so you're going to have to choose from the candidates that we named.
I think in this one, it has to go with Finn Russell. I mean, that man has been a beast in literally everything he's done. I will say the only drawback is that I don't feel like he's actually performed to wins, but he's performed individually admirably. And I think probably about better than anybody else individually. It just doesn't transfer into meaningful wins. Still, MFing Finn Russell.
John, who's your Player of the Year?
I'm going with the captain himself, Maro Itoje.
Let's
That's who I'm going with.
John,
You see the way he played? Holy cow, that man's a stud.
he's not on the list.
I don't care what list he's on. I'm voting for Maro Itoje.
He just proved the marketability point. All right?
Damn.
You don't even need him on the list to be able to put him on the list.
That's how bad that man is. That man's it's a bad man. He's not even on the list and he's up there.
Now we got a problem. We got a problem. But I'm going to go with Finn Russell. Finn Russell for the player of the year. There you go. There it is, Finn. Now we can move on to our next recurring segment, the Rugby Odds Season 5
Grown-ass man.
The nominees are Scott Barrett of the Crusaders and All Blacks, Evan Etzebeth of the Sharks and Springboks, oft injured but a force of nature when he played, including the 80 minutes versus Munster in that epic URC quarterfinal. Tyke Byrne of Munster/Ireland/the Lions, Bongi Ambanambi of the Sharks and Springboks, Vian Conradi of the Free Jacks, and Seth Smith, the 19-year-old hooker from Houston. He'll be on MLR Weekly this week. Mike, who's your grown-ass man?
I think had Etzebeth not got injured, which obviously then discounts you from being in the grown mouse man category.
Facts.
It's going to pain me, but he was, and they did win it. Canterbury, Scott Barrett led from the front and did a proper job. He was in the boiler house. He did the art graft, and he stepped up week after week. So for me, it's the Barrett boy.
All right. Our next two guys are going to completely ignore what the coach said. Gift, who do you think?
My first gut goes Bongi because a hooker of his size, stature, just dominating across board to the point where one person was like, I got dominated so badly, I think he called me a racist name. That's how badass Bongi was. But I gotta be objective on this one. For this one, first time ever. I gotta go with Scott Barrett as well, man. He's the Crusaders. I absolutely
Who are you?
blasted them all season. I absolutely underestimated everything they were going to do, and they found a way to actually pull through. Who would have thunk it? They finally decided to come back like they had Richie McCaw on the team again. So give it out to Scott Barrett.
Wow. Who are you, King? I don't know, man.
That's hurting. The fact that we've had to say this is hurting.
And who picked the Crusaders all season long? This guy.
In spite of those picks, Crusaders pulled through.
Okay. All right. John, who's your grown-ass man of season 5?
If I'm starting a team, if I'm walking into a bar fight, there are two guys I want. I want Maro Itoje and Edson Beth. That's who I want. I don't give a damn what we're playing, what we're doing. I want those two grown-ass men beside me. But I have to agree with the legendary Coach Mike. Edson Beth did get hurt, and that disqualifies him this year. He's my guy, though. He is my guy. I'm going with Scott Barrett.
Yeah, I just can't get over it.
As upset, you can't have your moment.
No, well,
you have to make this unanimous.
I can't believe you guys didn't do this. I am selecting as my grown-ass man, Maro Itoje. Because a grown-ass man doesn't need to be on a list to be a grown-ass man, okay? And if you guys were grown-ass men, you would have picked him as the only candidate for the grown-ass man.
He hates you.
Maro Itoje. But no, it's a good pick. So Scott Barrett
is this week's grown-ass man.
We're going to take a quick break, bring in George, then we'll bring you guys back in for the Rugby Championship stuff and NPC and Picks of the Week after this.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
And we are back once again with Mr. George Hook. We have the honor and privilege of welcoming you, George, from Dublin. How are you? Skip that. Let's get right to this week's
headlines with Hook.
The headline is, the game is
Yes, we can't say that in Catholic Ireland, but you got it right. The Lions tour, I do not share the overall enthusiasm, right? If you think the games, other than the tests, one of them had a spread of plus 35. Now, nobody knows more about spreads than you Americans. Plus 35 meant the game was nonsense. No, they beat the spread, but it still means these games are a nonsense. Anybody who suggests that a tour to Australia by the Lions is valid is talking nonsense. But the reason they're saying it is commercial. We need the money. Now, okay, the money I'm fine with. Let's look at the third test. 4 HIAs, 4 men in their prime of life leave the field with suspected traumatic brain injury. Let's call it what it is. And they don't come back, which means somebody said to them what day of the week it is, and they didn't know. Or how many fingers can you see? And they said, I don't know. Ryan, the Irish second row and Lions second row, was unconscious for minutes. And then to make matters worse, Sheehan, the Irish hooker, who is the outstanding player in the tournament, puts in a tackle which is criminal, right? So what? No red card, no nothing. So what's he get? He gets suspended for 4 games, reduced to 3 if he goes to the kindergarten addition and subtraction classes.
So the tackle school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the tackle school. This is an international rugby player.
Doesn't know how to tackle, George.
And he doesn't know how to tackle. And then the 3 games he's suspended for, he wasn't going to play in anyway because there were pre-tournament games. So where is the sanction? And there isn't any. And the thing is, this isn't about some loony 84-year-old in Ireland. This is the mothers who are watching this. New Zealand are losing more young people than ever in their history to the game. So no game, no industry, no company, no economy can survive by a consistent loss of its workers, which is the case in point. I'm not going to be around unless I'm 94, but I'm giving you 10 years max for the game as we know it.
So what are we going to have in 10 years, in your view?
We're going to have a game which resembles touch rugby. Because television, who is the ultimate paymaster, television is going to say, give us something that's exciting. And they're going to say, well, we don't have any tackling now. And it's why sevens is interesting. There's no tackling in sevens. There's no rucks in sevens. There's no scrums in sevens. There's no lineouts in sevens. Sevens is actually the future, and Ireland are making a Horlicks of it. Horlicks is a drink that puts you to sleep.
Do you think we're going to have like some some combination of 15s and 7s that's like 10s? We're going to have 10s, George?
I think it might be 10s, yeah.
Oh.
I think it might be 10s.
Oh, you're killing me.
But hold a while now. Nobody understands this better than Americans, interestingly. What's the population of America? 350 million?
Yeah, 350 million, give or take.
How many professional footballers are there in the NFL? 1,000, give or take?
Sure.
What are the other 349,999,000 doing? They're watching it on television, drinking beer, and eating potato chips. So what rugby will become is a small number of professional athletes that people watch on television. It's fact of life.
So what you're telling me, George, is the game is
That is precisely what I'm telling you. And unfortunately, by the time it is or is not, you know what, I won't be around. So you can't either blame me or congratulate me. I do not envisage being around to age 94.
Oh, we're going to keep you alive just to torture you so you can see that you were wrong. That's what we're going to do. We're going to prove you wrong.
I'm not wrong, kid.
I know.
I've never been more right in my entire rugby life.
You know what? You may be onto something there, but we are out of time, George. So I want to thank you for coming on with this week's
Headlines with Hook.
Thanks, George Hook.
Thanks to an aging George Hook who is counting the days to when he meets St. Peter at the Holy Gates.
Is he a fly half?
Peter's a pretty tough coach, I tell you.
We'll be right back after this.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now.
From New York City comes America's longest running and most popular rugby show. The biggest names in Major League Rugby, MLR highlights, and big match previews. Rugby Wrap-Up presents MLR Weekly, made in New York City.
And we are back, and we are going to the Rugby Championship, gentlemen. We have two matches. South Africa hosting Australia in Johannesburg. South Africa by 19.5, and Argentina hosting New Zealand. New Zealand only favored by 7.5 on the road. Mike, what do you like in the first match?
Oh, this is tight. South Africa at altitude, but Australia off the back of the Lions. I think South Africa win, but I don't think they cover 19.5.
John.
Mike's got a good point as far as coming off the lines. They're going to be sharp and they're going to be ready to play. But South Africa has dominance over Australia. 8 of the last 10 games they won, and they won by 20-plus points on average, which is right at the spread right now. So this spread is really good. I'm going to go over on this. Not a lot of confidence, but I'm going to go over on this.
Gift.
This is going to be about New Zealand and South Africa. Look for South Africa to be able to take this one. 19.5, I think is going to be good. It's going to be the spread, but I think it's going to be a close first half.
Close first half. Yeah, this is that old green and yellow bowl, and Australia, written off a lot of the times in recent years. They're coming off a good prep in that Lions tour. I think they're going to play South Africa tough. I think it's going to be a lot closer than that 19.5, but I think South Africa will prevail, but not by that spread. The next one up, Argentina at home, hosting the All Blacks. All Blacks favored by 7.5, Mike.
I think this is an interesting one because Argentina disappointed against England, but there was a lot of players rested by Argentina in that summer tour. So I don't know who wins this game, but I think Argentina could win it, and New Zealand are definitely not winning it by 7.5. So I'm going Argentina.
Wow. John.
I'm going to go the 8 of the last 10 games, same as the record as you have in the other game, won by New Zealand by 15-plus points. I think the times have changed since they've established that dominance. I'm going to go with the All Blacks on this. A very low confidence pick, though, because I think it could very well end up within that 7.5 points.
King.
These are two teams that I feel have been fairly quiet this summer. I know they had the games, Argentina versus the BNI, and then they had their game against England recently. But in terms of like new players, new inserts, I just haven't felt like that energy is the same. Now, mind you, it's the summertime, so we're just kind of coming back into it. But it being at home, Argentina quietly, I feel like has been building. I look for New Zealand to probably get the win out of this, but I don't think they cover the spread. I think Argentina does very well at home, and they've found a way to master being at home if you're fully loaded.
I agree with everything that everybody said, but I'm going to pick New Zealand to win by 15 points or more against Argentina. New Zealand's starting to get that machine-like precision again, and their players were fine-tuned coming out of Super Rugby and in a very good competition. I think the All Blacks are ready to rise to the top again.
With this New Zealand team, Savea is going to be the biggest key component of that. Depending on what they do with the roster on it, that's going to make the difference for this New Zealand team, whether they're going to be elite or whether they're going to be their version of average.
All right, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with our NPC picks and our picks of the week after this. Hey, U.S. fans, you can tune into every match live on Flow Rugby. How do we know that? Because we're on there all the time. And we're back, and we are back with our NPC picks. Mike, who do you like in the NPC?
Well, I'm a loyal individual. My boy Jed Melvin will not let me down 2 weeks running. Tommy Barham with him as well. I think Hawke's Bay may win, but I don't think they'll win by 14.5 because my boys at North Harbour will do a job.
You said that last week, and look what they did to you.
Yeah, they let me down, the twats, but today's another day.
Gift, you sold your soul and picked Canterbury, and they didn't cover, but they won, which is just more insulting for you. Are you going with them again?
I am not like Mike. I am absolutely not loyal. Screw Canterbury. I'm going to go with Taranaki to take out Auckland and absolutely blow them out because they blew out Mike's team last week. So may as well see what they can do against Auckland. There we go.
Auckland's at home.
What's home? It's all New Zealand. The island's not big enough to have home field advantage.
John.
I'm going back to the well. Bay of Plenty.
Laying 4.5 versus Canterbury. Okay.
Yes, because I'm with the king on this one. I'm against Canterbury.
Boom!
Bam!
I am really tempted to take Canterbury, but as Mike, these two idiots probably don't know, it's not the same Canterbury.
Scott Barrett ain't playing, mate.
No, you're not getting those guys. This is like the B team, but they don't know that, so let them think that. I'm going, Mike, directly against you and Jed Melvin for him letting you down. I'm taking Hawke's Bay and minusing the 14.5. Hawke's Bay at home.
Jed will seek you out.
Did you seek me out? All right.
We'll hunt you down in New York.
Let's finish this show so I can go hide before that happens. But that brings us to our final segment, John's favorite segment, Picks of the Week, Johnny. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to bet against your team, the Cocks. I'm betting against the Roosters, and I'm betting for Canterbury. So how about Canterbury beats the Matt McCarthys?
This is the NRL you're talking about.
People know that.
Okay, fair enough. Mike, who's your pick of the week?
I'm going to give you a little cheeky double, South Africa to win and Argentina.
To win.
Bam!
Just to win. Okay.
He said to win.
John, I don't need your two.
What else you need to know?
John's muted. Wow. Gift, who's your pick of the week?
Hey, I'm looking at the over-unders on the South Africa-Australia game. Going to be a high-scoring offensive game. Look at it at over 45 points combined.
I'm going to round this out, and I'm going to go with an under instead. I'm going to go under 45 for New Zealand versus Argentina in Argentina. And on that note, we're out of time. Unbelievable how time flies when you're having so much fun.
When you're like talking to your wife at breakfast or something, do you have to stop and start over as many times as you do on this show? Like, honey, I meant to say bacon, and then I said no. I meant eggs.
And John is muted. And on that note, I want to thank John Bradshaw, Layfield, the WWE Hall of Fame return rugby advocate, King Gift Egbelu, the Inventor of Words, Mike Friday, the 3-time Olympic sevens coach, George Hook, the Irish legend, and thank you for tuning in. Please check out MLR Weekly. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Sign up for our weekly newsletter, and please join our American Red Cross blood donor team.
I wish you'd give all your blood to somebody. Wrap it up!